Welcome back to our program. A 23-year-old Miami man barely escaped deportation this month. He was slated to be returned to Argentina, a country he left when he was 3 years old. But at the last minute, Department of Homeland Security officials deferred his deportation for 1 year. Now, the case of Walter Lara has gotten a lot of attention locally and nationally. Walter is my guest this morning to explain what led up to the deportation. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And he's also joined by his friend Maria Lacayo, who's been helping Walter in his effort to escape deportation. Let's start out at the beginning. At what age did you come to the United States, and how did you get here? And
I was brought here at age 3. My family wasn't able to obtain proper documentation, so I wasn't able to either. And I only knew about my undocumented status when I was applying for college. I was completely unaware until that point.
How did you find out?
I needed certain documentation in my application. I wanted to go to University of Central Florida, and it required, I don't remember exactly the form that it needed, but some proof of U.S. Residency.
Right.
And I liked that documentation, and I was told the story of, why we weren't able to, have my documentation.
So you found out you were not here with the proper documents. How did how did you come so close to being deported? How did that happen?
Well, after graduating in college, I was able to attain community college. I had to work. The economy was doing pretty bad, like it is now, and I had to, provide for my family. And I got caught working. I was going to go to Fisher Island, and I got caught by immigration there.
They stopped you on the ferry to Fisher Island?
Not on the ferry itself, but I was about to board the ferry. I was in a car with my coworker.
And what happened at that point?
Well, at that point, they put our names on the computer, and he turned out to be a resident, my coworker, and I wasn't on the system, so that's when they had to take me in and, start processing my papers there, and that's where I went to detention center in Pompano Beach, and I stayed there for like 20 days until...
How scary was that?
It was pretty scary. I mean, I didn't think I deserved something like that, had to go through that, but it was an interesting experience, I guess.
Wow. Well, let me talk to Maria. Maria, you're a student now at the University of Pennsylvania.
That is correct.
In Philadelphia, Ivy League school. I mean, that's a great place to be. You're a big fan of Walter's because he's very modest, but I know he did very well at Miami-Dade College, and is the kind of kid I'm sure would do excellent at a university, but he could not attend, or would not be able to afford to go to a place like that.
That is correct. Because of his immigration status, Walter is not eligible to attend any university here in the U.S. So now with his deferment that was granted by DHS, we're hopeful that he'll be able to apply to a 4-year university and be able to complete his education and be able to get a bachelor's in computer animation, because I know he aspires to work for Pixar or design animation. So this is the only way he'll be eligible to at least help him stay in the country by continuing his education.
Okay, I want to ask you both this question, because this is a question that I'm sure a lot of our viewers may be asking. People are going to say, well, Walter's a great kid, but the fact is that he is not in this country legally, and he should go back to the country where he was born and where he has proper documentation and try to enter the United States legally. How do you answer that?
I mean, what I can tell you is from personal experience, I came to this country with a visa, and I was granted, after going through the immigration system and DHS for almost 20 years, I went through the system, I was granted the right to stay here. And if it weren't for that, I would have never accomplished everything that I've accomplished in this country, And the ones who have benefited the most of all my accomplishments have been the U.S. and the people that live here. So I wouldn't change that for anything in the world. I wouldn't be able to do what I do now if it weren't for being able to stay in the U.S. And Walter is just an example of thousands of students who live up to the American dream, who strive every day for everything that the U.S. says, that you need to be a top student, you need to produce for us, you need to make us look amazing, and he is just that. And I don't think it's fair that we should say, anybody should say you don't deserve to stay here when this country was founded by immigrants. If it weren't for all those people that came from Europe, 200 years ago and made that sacrifice, we wouldn't be here today.
Well, Walter, how do you respond to when people say that?
Well,
and I'm sure you have heard people say that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it has been told before, and I was actually planning to do that, and that's why I signed my voluntary departure. I was under the impression that I'd be able to leave, and the second I get a visa, I'd be able to come back. But
it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. Yeah, I have a 10-year ban of ever be able to come back if I leave. So I wanted to do that. I mean, that's why I signed. But no one told me of the 10-year ban, you know. And from my understanding, it's if you're after the age of 18, if you stay there for more than a year, you get that 10-year ban. So that was for my case, and I was not aware of that.
And the prospect of being deported to Argentina has to be very scary to you.
Yeah, because I don't know that place. Like I said, it's like the only thing I know from there is, you know, what I read in books, and that's it.
Okay.
I mean,
well, you're the type of student that we want in this country. I mean, based on your grades and, you know, the future they have ahead of you. So we wish you the best of luck. You have a 1-year deferment by the Department of Homeland Security, so you will be able to stay in the United States. And I know that Senator Bill Nelson has been working very closely with you. How supportive has he been?
Well, he's trying to get a general policy passed. I spoke to him for about 5 minutes while he was going to his office, and we had a nice little conversation on why a DREAM Act or something needs to get passed. And he says that he would write letters to the Department of Homeland Security, which he already has. And I think it was one of the main reasons that I was able to stay.
Okay. All right. Walter, Lara, thank you very much. Maria Lacayo, also thank you for joining us on our show.